welcome to my channel. This is Kim. If you are not a current subscriber, I do free tutorials for Country Craft Creations. I make mini albums and altered items and junk journals. And so if you go ahead and tap that bell, it will notify you as to when I have a new video open or ready. This video is a walkthrough of my mini album for the Country Craft Creations collection called Friends. It's a Raggedy Ann and Andy collection. It is exclusive to Country Craft Creations. And I did make this for pictures of a new grandbaby that I have. And so when I go through it, you'll see on the cover that I have a name on there. And that's the reason why I am going to actually put pictures in my album. So let's go ahead and take a look at the album. I decided to go with a banner with her name, and I just added a little something down here in the corner because I felt like it needed something. So just something real subtle. I didn't put flowers because I didn't want it to be, I wanted the cover to be easily opened and closed without anything getting in the way. This book is 8.5 by 8.5 with a 2.5-inch spine. I did do several layers of matting on the front and the side and the back. But let me kind of give you a walkthrough here. These are the buttons that you can get from Country Craft Creations too. So on the side here, it's kind of hard to show you, but I just did some multi-layers of matting, used the button paper here. And on the back, I just wanted to use a variety of papers to add color. And so I just did several layers of matting here also. As you can see, the closure is a ribbon closure. This is what it looks like from the top. Let's take a peek. All right, so let's take a look at the left. Now the back cover is exactly the same, just using different papers, but I do have a mat here for pictures. I did leave it open on the opposite side. These little triangular corners keep that mat in there, and it keeps these doors closed. When you open it, there is a place for pictures, and I thought maybe journaling here. Because here's my plan. I plan on putting pictures of my grandbaby, and when she gets a little bit older, sitting down and looking at the book together. And I do have some paper dolls that I have fit in here perfectly. And I think that is such a cute idea. So I'm just throwing that in there just to fill up space. So this isn't from Country Craft Creations. This is just something I had. But and it's not attached, obviously, but I did want you to see that it does fit inside of this inside cover. There's some clothes. I, as a kid, loved paper dolls, so that'll go just right there, and then she could play with paper dolls as we sit down and look at it. I did keep some red here without matting. I do have some paper left over from the 12 by 12 collection, but I kind of liked the red and the white together. So then you just close the top and bottom, put side to side, and then, like I said, this keeps the door closed. Now there is a tutorial, or there will be. It should be up maybe by the time you see this. And I went through all the construction. I did forget one thing on the video, but if hopefully you're watching this before you do that, to close this flap, I just glued 4 pieces of paper on just the edges, and then I cut a piece that would fit underneath of it, and I did 2 layers just so that I could keep that closed. So this is what I made for the closures. It's a double layer of red, and then I just used the cutouts. Again, just little strips of paper and glued them on the outside edges. Buttons and ribbon there, and I thought that was cute. So then this will flip up, and you can see there's a little pocket to put some cut aparts. Down below is another pocket. Also, I don't know if I can see that or not. It says friendship on there. I didn't know if I should put the friendship on the other direction, but then I thought, even though this is an upside down pocket, I liked the word right there. So then this is a double waterfall. I lost my words. And I did pictures on the front, and then these are just 1/2-inch strips going down. So you'll see that they're red because I plan on putting pictures there. I didn't need the extra bulk. Okay, whoopsie. And then the other side is the same, just 1/2-inch pieces. And I covered up that little place where you combine mats. Okay, now this is actually a belly band, or there's two different waterfalls, and they're open, so you can put a mat underneath of this also. To close it, I want this part on top. You make this piece narrower than what you did for your cutout, and it just slides down like so, and it will keep it closed. Okay, on the opposite side, there's a lot of ribbons for the closure. I'm not 100% thrilled with these just because it's a pain to open and close, but they all have a place for journaling on the back, and then there's a place for a picture on the inside. So there's that. I loved this paper. Now when I close it, you'll see that there are things on the door. I just took one of those, I just cut out these papers randomly and placed them on here with buttons, and I'll tie those later because it's kind of a pain. The middle page, now also in the tutorial, I want to tell you that I taught them in a different order. So what I referred to as page 1 actually turned out being my page 3. And it's just because it fit better in the book and it had more space for the elements that I was using. So as you're walking through, if I say page 1 and page 2, they're out of order. In the video, this was actually my page 2, and now it's my page 1. This was my page 3, and now it's my page 2. So I just had to put them in there in the way they looked best, okay? So here we have a slider feature, and if you slide this down, you can see that there's a little pocket there for a picture. Open it up, and there's other opportunities for pictures. Now to open this one, you just slide this up, and it's the same thing. You have a little pocket for an insert there, more room for pictures, and then there is a spot for a photo there. And this belly band is how this is attached. So then to close it, you just close both the doors, bring this up, and then you can close these doors, bring it down, and then this side of the cut apart will keep that closed. Now this book is open at the top, so you can also add mats in the top. On the opposite side, I have an angled pocket with a pocket, and there's room for plenty of pictures. I just have some cut aparts in here and places to put pictures. Now I also had, the cover fell off. This was a Raggedy Ann and Andy book. But the cover is old and it fell off. So it is a story about Raggedy Ann and Andy that I thought, well, I can't throw this away just because the cover fell off. So that's going to get tucked in right here. I love that. Now what inspired me for all this interactive stuff is I had a book as a kid, and I got it, I couldn't find it, so I ordered it. I got it from eBay, somebody was selling it, but it was a Hallmark book from when I was young, and it just had a lot of flips and flaps and pulls, and so I thought I want this to be interactive too. All right, so this comes out, and these two buttons keep it from falling out the bottom, and both of these have a tie closure, but it's not attached, so they come off. And for these pictures, you just slide this forward, and this one, and then you have a place to add your photos. And then they just easily come back down. And then you put this back on to keep it closed. So they're not attached, but they are easy. I think they're easier than those tags that I did on another page. Okay, and then you can just decide if you want the tie on the inside or the outside. I think I'll go over here. And that's just to kind of keep them in place. And I don't tie good bows. And it's silky material, and sometimes it's slick. Okay, and then I'll put the other one on just so I can turn the page without it flopping around. I really do think it's a cute book, and I love that there's a lot of opportunities for pictures, which is what I'm actually going to do with it. because sometimes I make books and I just display them as artwork. I think we're all probably a little guilty of that. And I'm going to go ahead and tie this one on this side too. Why can't I tie? And then we'll go ahead and slide this mat back in. And like I said, oopsie, what did I do? The buttons will hold it so that they don't, that this mat doesn't slip out the bottom. It's not centered. On the opposite side then, this is a flat or page. There is a pull out at the top, and this does pull out and it does open so that you have plenty of room for pictures. And then you just slide that back in, open it up. You have a place for pictures here. Again, there is a pull out at the top. And then I have added a little pocket here. And this does pull out just like the other one. And there is a place for pictures. That is heavy enough that it stays closed. And then, like I said, the back is pretty much the same as the front, just different paper. So there's room for pictures there. Open it up, and by golly, I have another set of those paper dolls. Okay. So the tutorial is going to be in two parts. One is going to be the cover, and the other one will be the construction of the pages. I do a little bit of matting with you, but not a whole lot. That's personal preference, but you can look through this video if you like the way I did it to see where I put each different paper. I do have about 4 sheets of 12 by 12 and some scraps left over, so I might make a little accordion booklet just that I can have for extra pictures. So this is called Friends, and it's at Country Craft Creations, and I will have a tutorial. So thank you for coming to my channel, and I'll be back soon.